Hello, my fellow horror film fans. I'm Mike C. Welcome back into the Chrono Cabin. Well, another Halloween has come and gone, but lucky for us, the horror genre is filled with movies that keep coming out year-round, so you might as well say Halloween is all year, especially here at the Chrono Cabin. During last Halloween season, I started watching a horror film a night starting September 1st, and I went all the way till Halloween. Now, I didn't get to watch a movie every single night. I had to double up some nights just because it got a little difficult. Some nights I fell asleep. It wasn't because the movie was bad, it was just it was getting late. That being said, I'm going to pick my top 3 out of the 61 films I watched this past Halloween season. Now, the top 3 that I am picking are films that I had not yet seen. So most of these movies came out in 2022. There's only one that came out in 2019 that I hadn't seen until this year, so I'm going to include that. And if you'll remember, I did this last year as well. You can check out that video where I chose my top 3 out of the 61 horror films that I watched. This year, I'm going to make a little change. Instead of just giving you my top 3, I'm also going to give you 4 runners-up. I actually had a very difficult time trying to pick my top 3 movies because I actually saw a lot of good horror movies this past Halloween season. So real quick before we get into my favorite picks, this video is pretty much dropping right around Thanksgiving, so if you are interested in some Thanksgiving horror movies, there's not a lot, but last year I did a video on the horror film Pilgrim. That was part of the Blumhouse and Hulu Into the Dark series. It was actually really funny. I really enjoyed it. It's really twisted and weird, but it was super fun. I highly recommend checking that out if you are into some turkey horror. Has an interesting ring to it. Also, we are in the Christmas and holiday season, so if you want some horror to spice up your Yuletide cheer, I did a video last year on some great movies to watch during this time of year that have the feel of winter, have a Christmassy type feel, and I just think they're great horror movies to watch around this time of year. Check that out. I have some great choices in there. In fact, one of the choices from last year that I picked was a series called Elves on Netflix, and they're now coming out with a season 2. Without further ado, my top 3 picks out of 61 movies. In no particular order. The first one is Deadstream. This came out in 2022, literally right before Halloween. A disgraced internet personality attempts to win back his followers by live streaming one night alone in a haunted house. He accidentally pisses off a vengeful spirit, and his comeback becomes a fight for his life. Can't tell you how much I enjoyed this movie. I watched it twice, and I actually did a full video on it. So I know I'm sending you a lot of videos, but check that video out if you want a fuller version of it. But honestly, it was hilarious. I just thought it was so well done. It reminded me a little bit of The Evil Dead. And if you watch it, I think you'll get that same spirit of Evil Dead, Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, of course. I really can't tell you how much I laughed during this movie. It was a really fun horror comedy, and it was just really well done. I usually don't like live action or live streaming or found footage type stuff, but this one, it totally got me. I can't recommend it enough. Deadstream is a Shudder original, so check it out on Shudder. Next, we have a movie that actually came out in 2019. I didn't see it until just this past Halloween season, 2022, so I actually really enjoyed it, and it is Beelzebub. On the U.S.-Mexico border, Special Agent Emmanuel Ritter leads a police investigation into a series of shocking deaths involving young children. When a priest from the Vatican links the ancient demon Beelzebub to the murders, a descent into horror ensues. And yeah, this one actually kind of surprised me. I didn't really know what to think about it. This actually is another Shudder original. I actually have a lot of Shudder originals that I'm talking about in this video. Shudder's been nailing it, I think. So anyway, check this one out on Shudder as well. If you like movies that revolve around ancient biblical prophecies, maybe the Book of Revelation, then this movie might be for you. So Beelzebub is the English translation for a demon that is actually found in the Bible. The only reason I say that is I literally saw another horror movie called Ghosts in the Graveyard, and this one is on Amazon Prime Video, and it's literally the same story. It didn't copy Beelzebub, but it has literally the same story behind it. So if you like this story, you might check out that movie as well, because it wasn't as good, but it kind of deals with the same subject matter. Now this one is definitely kind of creepy. In fact, let's do a creepy factor. So on a scale of 1 to 5 creepy factor, what's say the Chrono Cabin algorithm on this one? Yeah, definitely a 3.5. They actually did something in this movie that kind of shocked me in a way. It was just visually shocking. And I don't think I've ever seen this done in another biblical type horror movie or demon possession horror movie. You just have to see it, and I bet if you watch it, you'll know the scene that I'm talking about. Overall, I thought the story was pretty well done. It pretty much kept me captivated, and there's some nice little twists and turns in the plot. I actually kind of liked where it was filmed. It's filmed in parts of the desert, so it's got a really beautiful desert landscape if you're interested in desert landscapes. Overall, the production value was really good. The acting was really good. Music was really good, so I highly recommend it. This one is definitely one that stuck out to me. Number 3, Watcher. This is a Shudder exclusive, so it is currently on Shudder, but it will eventually move to other streaming services. A young American woman moves with her husband to Bucharest and begins to suspect that a stranger who watches her from the apartment building across the street may be a local serial killer decapitating women. Yeah, this is a very dark movie. It's a very slow burn, but I really got into this movie. It reminded me of a Hitchcock film and a little bit of Rosemary's Baby. There's definitely a sense of paranoia in this film. There's also a strong sense of loneliness. It's that idea of being a foreigner in a strange country, and you're kind of trying to find your footing. You don't know anybody. You don't really know the area very well. You barely speak the language. And that really plays into the idea of this movie. You really do feel her loneliness, and that loneliness really breeds into more and more paranoia. And no one really believes her. Everybody thinks it's all in her mind. That's why I say it's a lot like Hitchcock and Rosemary's Baby. It's very psychological in a sense, and it's got this slow moving progression, but definitely worth it to watch it to the end. The acting is fantastic in this movie. I really felt this movie was shot beautifully. I mean, the lighting, just everything about it. It was a real pleasure to watch. The creepiness in this movie isn't from real scares. It's more just from this idea that you're being watched, which is pretty creepy. But I will say, you really kind of feel for the woman in this movie. You just kind of want to see her just leave the country, go home, and things start kind of falling apart. And it really has actually kind of a nice twist at the end. You do have to kind of remember you are watching a movie, though. I'll just say that. And now for my 4 runners-up. The first one is Glorious, 2022. This is literally where a guy gets locked in a bathroom and there's a voice. Pretty simple plot, but I guarantee you it is one heck of a ride. I did do a full video on this, so go ahead and check that out. You can see more details on it, but again, the acting was really great. It's one of the more unique films I think I saw out of this batch. It really had an interesting concept to it. Very nice twist at the end as well. I did not see the twist coming. Great acting all the way around. Really great production value. It was just a fun, interesting movie to watch, kind of creepy. If you are OCD about going into dirty bathrooms, actually I don't know who wants to go into a dirty bathroom, but this movie will get under your skin, so I highly recommend it. Now, runner-up number 2, and this one has been kind of a divisive movie, I think. HalIoween Ends. Yes, I know, dare I bring it up. I actually really liked HalIoween Ends. I had to watch it twice, but I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of you probably already saw this and didn't like it, with good reason. They introduced a new character. That's always kind of tough to do at the end of something. And also, you don't really see Michael Myers that much. I know a lot of people were just saying, I just want to see more Michael Myers. But I actually think I understand why they did this. They focused more on the actual characters. They really focused more on the destruction that Michael Myers left in his path in this town of Haddonfield, Illinois. Like, the town is a mess. People are fighting each other. it's really about the destruction that Michael Myers caused even after years of missing. So a number of years have gone by and the town has just sunk into this deep darkness, and they really show that. This is 40 years, Haddonfield, and it's 40 years or over 40 years of Michael Myers terrorizing this town as the boogeyman. And it wears on people. And I think you really get a sense of how it really was wearing on all the characters. I love Jamie Lee Curtis's character in this movie because she kind of goes back to her original nerdy self, and it's kind of like a nice in-between between the doomsday prepper that she became. Overall, she's just a little more lighthearted in this. It's kind of nice to see, at least at first. I don't know if you noticed this too, in the opening credits, they were the exact same as Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which, if you remember, had nothing to do with Michael Myers. And that's another story in itself. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch was made because it was originally going to be part of an anthology series. So they were thinking they would spawn a new Halloween movie every Halloween, and it would be a different storyline. Well, the movie wasn't very popular, at least at the time. Now it's great. It's one of my favorite Halloween movies to watch. I know it sounds weird, but I love Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, just from the oddness of it, and also just the way they filmed the Northern California coast or the Central California coast. But originally that movie just failed in the box office, and everybody just wanted Michael Myers, so they went back to this storyline with Michael Myers. But yeah, it's kind of a weird parallel because when you think about it, this is part 3 and you don't see a lot of Michael Myers in it. I thought it was a very fitting end. The funeral procession was quite interesting, very interesting choice. I don't know how it goes over with a lot of people, but for me, I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, you're talking about a 40 plus year legacy here. And I don't know what they're going to do beyond this, because we know that Jamie Lee Curtis is stepping down from her role as Laurie. And I don't know if she's going to go on and maybe do a few other projects, but it sounds like she's just kind of retiring from acting altogether. And without Jamie Lee Curtis in the film, I just think you're missing a huge piece. She's been in this role for 40 plus years. So in a sense, there's no replacing her. You've got to do something completely different, go on to another timeline, new characters or something. So I don't know. Will this be the last Halloween? We'll see. I definitely enjoyed it. There were problems, but it made it to my runners-up. Definitely. I enjoyed it. I watched it twice. It's on Peacock. Another aspect I did like in this movie was kind of the call out to the movie Christine. And if you see it, you'll know what I mean. I thought that was really interesting. As you know, John Carpenter directed Christine, which is a famous book by Stephen King. For me, it just hit. It took me 2 times to watch it, though. All right, runner-up number 3, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Yeah, I know this is not a movie. This is a limited run series, but man, did I enjoy this limited run series. I thought it was great. There were some episodes that I didn't like, but overall, I liked episodes 1, 2, and 3. I enjoyed episode 6 with Rupert Grint. There's a lot of different time periods in this, and I think one of my favorite episodes was episode 7. It's also one of the weirdest ones. They go back to the 70s, and it involves a small group of people that are invited to see this very secretive work of art. And it's actually got a great cast. It's got Steve Agee, who I think is really funny. In fact, he was in a movie called Amigo Undead with a very good friend of mine, Ed Galvez. I hope to have Ed Galvez on as a guest at some point, because I'd like to interview him about that movie. He played the demon in Amigo Undead. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Amigo Undead is a great movie. But Steve Agee, he's a comedian. He does a lot of acting. He's very good in this. Also, I was really surprised to see Charlene Yi. I knew I recognized her. I used to see her perform from time to time at this small comedy theater. Her comedy really wasn't my thing, but I really appreciated how unique she made her comedy. She was definitely kind of a genius on another level, I think, and it was interesting to see her in this. She's been in a handful of things. She's gone on to do some pretty good projects, but she was very good in this. It's a role that really fits her really well, I think. And the music in episode 7 is my favorite. They do this very classic throwback to early John Carpenter music. So it's got that real synth vibe to it. So each episode is just a completely different story, and there's not that many to get through, so it's a really nice watch. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. There's really a nice production quality about this whole thing, especially the episodes that I really liked. They had kind of a dark fantasy quality to them. The series is very dark overall, and it's got a pretty decent gore factor. There's some things that'll make you a little queasy in this for sure. So if you like gore, you'll get a good feel of it in this. And I kind of like the last episode as well. It's nothing really scary about it, but I think it just kind of left with a positive palate cleaner, if you will. So definitely check out Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix. Now my last runner-up is another limited series, and this is Mike Flanagan's latest series, The Midnight Club. I did not like this as much as Midnight Mass, which was his previous limited series, but overall, it was definitely up there for me. I think my favorite Mike Flanagan limited series is The Haunting of Hill House so far. The Midnight Club was tough for me to watch at times. I mean, I really got invested with the characters. As always, Mike Flanagan just draws me into his characters. His characters are so well thought out and written. But yeah, this is a bunch of terminally ill kids, and they go to this house to live out the rest of their days, and they develop a very interesting relationship with one another. And of course, there's the element of there was this dark cult that was there prior. And the whole point of the Midnight Club is these kids meet at midnight and they tell stories, and the stories are very closely intertwined to their lives. It's kind of how you learn about their characters. Thought that was really interesting and was really well done. At times, I have to say, it was very sweet because really all these kids were really looking out for each other. The one main character, the girl in the wheelchair, it's tough to like her at first, but you generally start liking her. It was really well done. It was a nice transformation. Again, this is just another one where it's typical Mike Flanagan production value. It's typical Mike Flanagan genius writing. It's definitely like a heartwarming but yet horror ride. There's some creepy elements to it. It's definitely not as creepy as The Haunting of Hill House, but it has its moments. I always get left with this one feeling whenever I watch a Mike Flanagan series. I always feel like I'm kind of left in a dream. I know that sounds really strange. I can't explain it. Maybe one day I'll be able to explain it better to you, but I always have this feeling that it felt like I dreamt the whole thing. But all in all, I'm a big Mike Flanagan fan. I like the actors and actresses he chooses to work with. He uses a lot of the same actors and actresses, but they've really gone through like a whole bunch of different roles. And you know, in all of the series that I've watched from Mike Flanagan, I've never once said, oh yeah, she's kind of playing the same character as she did in this, or he's kind of playing the same character as he did in this. I always felt like each limited run series, the characters are so unique and the acting is so good that you kind of forget they were in anything else that Mike Flanagan did. And with that, everyone, if you are celebrating Thanksgiving, I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving and safe travels if you are traveling. If you like this video, give it a like. If you like my channel, please subscribe. You can ring the bell for future notifications whenever I release new content. Until next time, keep watching those horror movies, and I will see you soon.
Gobble, gobble, gobble! It's what you say at Thanksgiving!